Sophia!
Today, I, Sophia Sylphid, pledge myself for the rest of my life to my master, 𝐜𝐴𝐻𝐴 Takumi.
Once again, thank you.
Yes, it's my pleasure. Good, good.
Greatest Alchemist episode number 3. And here's the funny thing. I've been having such a fun time watching this show that I completely forgot that there was other summoned heroes. Like there's these kids that got summoned to this other part of the world. I think it's called 𝐶𝐶𝐷𝐴. And essentially what's very interesting about that is there's currently in the kingdom where our main character Takumi lives, the goddess summoned him to a portion of the land that, how do you say, worships her. So you have the goddess of creation and the goddess of light or destiny or light, something like that. And essentially the goddess of creation is her, and she summoned him to a place or area that worships her as their goddess, as their deity. Well, the other 3 kids, they were summoned to the kingdom of 𝐶𝐷𝐴 for whatever reason, and they on that side worship the goddess of light or destiny or something like that. I think it's the goddess of light. So I completely forgot about those other 3 kids at all because again, I've been having such a fun time following Takumi, following his crazy alchemy antics, following him from the last town that he went in to the now the capital. To him, getting his spider familiar and, kind of like basically solidifying himself in that first town, solidifying himself here in the capital, meeting the merchant trader and stuff like that. And then from there on, last week's episode number 2, we ended with the potential for, waifu slaves, which led us into this week where he has now met Sophia and Maria. And Maria is, a slave that does cleaning and house chores and everything else. And he went in with the intention to only go get 1 slave to kind of do, be a master of all. But he ended up with 2 slaves. And the second one was the one we ended off on last week, which is Sophia. And Sophia is an elf, long-lived, most like every other story. Elves live very long lives. And she's been a slave for 50 years. And she hasn't been slave traded because she is missing a portion of her ear. She no longer has spirit control magic. She has a curse placed on her. She's just all kinds of bad. So it led us into this week's episode. But let me wrap up the hero stuff. So I forgot about the heroes, right? And I've been having, like I said, I've had such a good time watching this show that I completely forgot that the heroes existed. Well, it introduced us again to the heroes, and thankfully one of the girls in that 3-person hero party has a brain on her. And, well, 2 things. She has a brain to think, not like the other 2 guys who are just, they look more meathead. I'll protect you, I'll wear a cape, dude. Like they look like those kind of guys that they don't really question a lot. But she's questioning, she has a good head on her, and she has a skill to see that the person that helps summon them, the saintess or whatever, is probably very evil. So I thought that was an interesting thing too. And eventually, now that the timeline, because he had 1 year to adapt, that timeline's gone. Goddess's protection is gone. Everything was working out perfectly for him because it was all due to like the goddesses, what she called it, like the beginner tutorial, which is now complete. So everything he does and doesn't do it now has a cause and effect, as opposed to before where things were just naturally working out for him. So we know eventually he's going to coincide with those other heroes at some point in the story. Now, back to the slave stuff. Now, he was able to contract with Maria. She did it willingly. She liked him. He liked her, back and forth. So everything worked out great. And then we have Sophia, who had all those issues. Well, he met with her, talked to her, and he was like, okay, I can fix you. I'll fix the curse. I'll lift the curse. I'll fix your ear. Like, I'll get you back in tip-top shape, but like, I need you kind of thing. And he takes them both to his home, and he kind of establishes them. And by the end of the episode, he was in fact able to, through trial, error, and leveling up by cutting himself, he was able to level up his healing abilities and his dispel abilities to dispel her curse and do, I think he called it high healing, but like a very potent healing healing spell. So he was able to fix all her injuries, including her ear, and then he was able to completely dispel this curse, who knows where it came from, on her. And the episode ended with Sophia basically she basically re-pledged herself to Takumi once again based on his actions and her confusion there as well. So I really, really loved it. I thought it was a really good episode. I thought it felt really, really lickety split. I will tell you guys that I didn't realize this show had a dub that was releasing day and date. I did watch the dub today. I will tell you that, like, it is not good. I can't in full faith recommend the dub. I watched till he had a conversation with the slave trader girl, the slave trader lady, whatever. And then I had to swap back to the sub. And not that the sub is like winning any awards, right? Like the voice actors there are doing a good job. They're not like, winning any awards over there in Japan either. It just sounds pretty normal, sounds pretty normal. But the English one, I don't know if I find it charming or just bad. Like, it's bad. The voice actor for Takumi doesn't fit. Sophia sounds okay. Maria sounds okay. The slave trader did not fit at all. She should have sounded like Frieza, but instead she sounded like some old lady. And then the spider, I don't know if I heard the spider speak, but yeah, it just wasn't good. So I don't know if I find it charming yet. It's still an easier way to watch the show. I love when shows have a dub. I just think that it's unlike other shows like Spirit Chronicles or Arifureta or some of these other budget ones that tend to have very charming voice acting, whereas like, oh, the voice acting is still really good. It's just it's so bad it's good kind of thing. I don't know if this one has that. I think this one might just be bad. So anyways, yeah, that's how I feel there. So just an FYI. Those are my thoughts though, my friends. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you guys next week for episode 4. Peace.